Welcome back to more of the Ninja Turtle. You know, I'm just going to change it now. I was calling this a pitch, but the more I think about it, that's probably the inappropriate term for it. It's more like portfolio piece. So it's a Ninja Turtle portfolio piece. The reason why I'm changing it is, if it was up to me, and the beginning of this whole thing was sending this to IDW and the people that are doing the current Ninja Turtles comic book, which I highly recommend you guys check out, even if you're not Turtles fans. It's a wonderful comic. It's very good. Very, very good. But I want to send them this as well, just so they can see my take on Turtles, and if it's something that appeals to what they're looking for their business, right? It's been a childhood dream to be able to draw something published for Ninja Turtles, so I'll continue to try to get that. However, there's a lot more properties out there that I'd love to do, and I figured, you know what? I'm going to be doing a series of portfolio pieces to increase the quality and to show how, you know, my current drawing abilities are, and sent to like Marvel, DC, Boom, IDW, Dark Horse, all these places, Image, all these places that are publishers, just to see what happens. And it's been a long while since I've updated my portfolio. Usually, I find most people in comics, their portfolio is published work, which I think it should be. It's showing that you're continually doing work. But right now, I don't want to say I'm out of work, but I'm not taking client work anymore. I'm just working on personal projects, or if there's like sweet projects that come along that might get published, and that can help beef up the portfolio. But in the meantime, I want to be doing more comics, like you guys have always heard me say. And besides personal projects, I think it's I don't want to say appropriate, but it's a good idea to me anyway to be doing portfolio pieces of licensed characters, because they get a little bit more high profile. People know these characters, and there's a tendency for them to get shared around online. Things that get liked a lot or retweeted. All that sort of thing can only help benefit your portfolio, especially nowadays where social media is insane. So, with that being said, that's where I'm going with this. I forget what I had said in the previous video, but just to give you guys an update of what's going on. Originally, this was the 5 pages, a 5-page pitch, and I'm more than sure we went through the script on the last one, like how I developed a script and how very simple it is. Since then, I was watching a few videos of editors, actually, on YouTube talking about, if you're able to show an editor your skills in 5 pages, that's great. If you could show them in 3 pages, that's even better. And when you think about it in reflection, 5 pages gives me as an artist more room to show things and draw things and show different things. But these editors, they don't have all the time in the day, and I'm nobody. Everybody's nobody to these people until you're somebody. And if you're just nobody, you're just another email or something that gets lost in inboxes and things. So there's no reason for me, and it does make sense. This could just be my point of view, of 3 pages is better than 5. In 3, if I can't show somebody in 5 pages what I'm able to do, or at my current level, or what I might need improvement on, how the hell can I do that in 3, right? So in thinking of that, it's like, well, 3 pages is more than enough. 5 would be fluff. What's going to happen is, again, once these are shown to editors and things, if they like what they see, they're going to ask for more. And that's what you want. That's the best thing you want. So the way I'm going to be approaching this is about I think, bi-weekly for now. That's about the best I can afford time-wise because of my full-time job and things. That bi-weekly, I'll be sending editors just updates of what I've been working on. So 3 pages to me sounds like, if I can do 3 pages every 2 weeks for this sort of stuff, I think that's more than enough for editors to see that. 1, that you're continually working on things, and 2, those things you're working on are comic book related, right? So it all works out. So let's start talking about some process of what's going on. I thought I would record this shot here because it's the most interesting. If the Turtles do what the Turtles do, I think this is, anybody that wants to draw Ninja Turtles, this sort of stuff is most likely what you want to be doing. I know as a reader, the story's cool, but when you see the Turtles fighting and stuff, that's cooler. It's sweet. It's awesome. So the first panel that you guys can't really see, it's an establishing shot of New York City. Second panel, we're on the street level, sort of showing the sewers. And then the third panel is the sewers. Fourth panel is this here. And the fifth panel at the bottom there is Leonardo just sort of coming at us. One thing I did want to say, sorry, let me just mute my phone. I apologize. I'm in production here, and I'm getting all kinds of notifications. Talk about not being professional, eh? So the process that I'm working on here is I've just got all the stages set up. You can look on the right if you put it up in HD or whatever, or zoom in. You'll see there's colors on there. What the hell? Those colors are just for me, for my eye to like quickly grab there. I'll just go through the workflow again. This is talked about in the DC Comics to digitally, or the DC Comics Guide to Digitally Drawing Comics. Of basically starting with your roughs and thumbnails, and the next folder would be, thumbnails and sketches would be your first folder. The second one would be roughs or breakdowns, like anatomical breakdowns. Third folder would be pencils. Fourth panel, inks. Fifth panel, color, if you're going that far. Now, one of the things that I was trying to decide while I was doing this is my roughs. And these sorts of shots, they're so hard to do because there's so much going on and there's so much to draw. They are more fun to draw, but like, so Michelangelo's in the front here just feeding the news to one of those foot soldiers, right in the jaw there. That's like a really cool shot, but there's all these other foot soldiers and things going on in the background, and it makes it for a very long drawing session when you're doing this stuff. And if it's pages after pages, as exciting as it is as a reader, for all of us out there that are creating this stuff, I don't want to say you don't look forward to this stuff, because these are the payoff moments for me. This is the stuff that I want to be doing in comics, is these heroic shots that just make things or characters look more larger than life and sort of things, right? Like make them look more badass. But they just take so long. It's like drawing cityscapes. And I have a big New York scene at the top. But this is what I'm talking about. This is for portfolio purposes, right? I want to show what I'm able to do right now. And if there are publishers that are interested, that would be great. And you're going to see actually right now. So what I decided to do is, as much as I enjoy digital inking, digital or just pencils in general are so much more fun to me. I'm allowed to be a little bit more rough and loose with them. And if I can get a top-notch inker on top of my pencils, like theoretically the art would be better, I would think, right? And I'm just sort of, that's the way I feel that it would be. So I've gone ahead and made the executive decision that the portfolio pieces that I'll be sending in currently will be digital pencils. Doesn't matter if it's digital or not, as long as the end effect looks good. And so that's what I decided to do. I was actually going through, I recommend you guys check this out too. David Finch has some wonderful tutorials on YouTube. And one of the things he talks about is just sort of the pencils that he uses when he's penciling. And I never really thought of doing this, and he really didn't talk about this. I was just looking at the folder structure that he had. But it seems anyway, in one of the videos I was watching, he was using pencils on a monochrome layer. Now, normally I would use this on gray, right? Because I can get some value range with that. But theoretically, when you're doing pencils, value doesn't matter, right? Because an inker will inevitably get to it. But I just tried it on monochrome. It actually saved system resources. Like I was talking to you guys, if you can look, I'm actually up to 600 DPI in this with the pencils. And it takes a little bit to save, but not as long as before. And the look is a little different. It's a little more grainy. And you can see it, but I actually really like the way it looks. It feels almost like if I was using like an HB lead, like from a, what's it called, a mechanical pencil. Or I usually use like what I think a lot of people use, which is that 2H lead holder. And it sort of feels like that, but a little darker. But, as I was doing this, I'm like, when I would normally do this stuff for clients back in the day, and I would scan this in, I would always end up adjusting the levels anyway to make those pencils usually darker, right? So that's what I decided to do on here. I'm like, this is sort of like if my pencils were darker when I scanned it in. And it felt good. Everything feels good. And another thing that I started to do as well, or trying my best, if you look at this one's actually zoomed in 33.3%. I'm trying my hardest not to ever go past 25%. This one is a little, I probably shouldn't have done it here, but I just started to remember it later on. You'll see, and it doesn't really make for good video recording or streaming, because like you can see right here how zoomed out I am. This is actually ideal, maybe one more in from here zoomed in, because what I'm trying to do is I'm using the Huion GT220, and it's 22 inches, 21.5 inches. It's a big mofo. And what I do is I just grab 11 by 17 Bristol board and I just lay it on top. And I want to have it at least that size and zoomed in maybe just a little bit more than that. And the reason for that is it prevents me from getting lost in details, right? I can't go in here like, let's be honest, when I'm drawing right now that I'm doing the type pencils over, if I go and zoom in even more like Michelangelo, all those details in the background, and I have done this, and I'm preaching to you guys because I really want you guys to listen and understand. The more you zoom in, two things happen. One, you're putting more work on yourself, and two, especially if this is going to print, a lot of those details are going to get lost, and you're wasting time. And just to, reiterate once again, look at how much stuff is going on in a panel like this. The more work I give myself, like this is going to take long enough. I think this whole, what you guys have seen so far that I've recorded, I've increased it. I think it was like, I broke it up into 2 videos and I increased the speed of each of these by 999% just to get it down to like an under 20-minute video. But I think all in all, this was about a 3-hour process. And I still got panels to go, right? So you got to imagine, it's different, but I was always told that the industry standard is a page a day. Okay? If you can do 1 comic book page a day, you're pretty much on track. I think it's gone a little different nowadays. I think you can get up to like, I don't know, it's like an issue every 4 to 6 weeks is acceptable. Ideally, I think all of us would want to have a page a day. And it just makes it so that when you get new work from editors and things, they know you can deliver it on time, right? So it's just noticing these little things in order to get it. Now, if you're using like a tablet that's not like a Cintiq or something, again, just have your screen zoom in, like grab an 11 by 17 piece of Bristol. If you don't have that, literally tape 2 8.5 by 11 printer papers together. That'll make it 11 by 17, which is, whoops, hit the mute there, which is American standardized paper size for comics. And just lay it up on your screen and try to get around the zoom there. The lines might get a little jaggy and stuff, but just be aware of that size. That's all. I've been rambling on that for a while. I just wanted to just hammer that home to you guys, okay? Okay, so here we go. We're doing Michelangelo. I actually really enjoyed this. I had a live stream before the first video you saw here. We were just streaming, having some fun, just going over this. And Michelangelo was actually giving me a lot of problems. I didn't know what I wanted to do with him. I had one where he was kicking directly at us, but all of it just felt weird. It felt really weird. So I inevitably got to this pose here, and it's a safe pose. It's not anything too crazy, but what's happening is Raphael in the background is supposed to be the focus, but Michelangelo is taking up such a prominence here that he looks too good for people not to look that way. So I'm going to try to add more shadow and rendering to Raph in the back and just start to highlight around him and see how I can push and pull. All the vanishing points are pretty much towards him, and he's in the center of the panel, so again, it's a safe shot. This is all safe stuff. This isn't anything dramatic too much. I'm just trying to show clarity with this. I can save some dynamic stuff in the following pages and stuff. But this is, if an editor or anybody, once this is on DeviantArt or on my site, you guys can check it out, download the high-res pencils and all that. You can check it out, and you can just see that this is the first page that's going to get people to turn to the next one. So if there's nothing interesting here, why bother, right? And it's really something to always remember. If the first thing you show somebody isn't good enough, if they start thinking like, why bother going to the next one? Like, you've lost the interest of a reader. And you got to do your best. I'm doing my best to get around that, and hopefully that doesn't happen. Some compositional stuff I can talk about. It's a little difficult here. Sometimes you'll see it on the right there. It's a foot soldier's hand, and he's got, I don't know what these weapons are called. I've seen them, but I don't really know what this knife thing's called with the little hook. It's kind of like a sai, like Raphael's thing, but more of like a, I don't know, obviously a parry something, I would assume. But what I'm using there's a hand on the right, and then there's a hand on the left here, and the hand in the left, I'm pretty sure we will get into that, has some ninja stars in it. And compositionally, what I'm trying to do is, it's sort of like a round fisheye view. You can see a Leonardo at the top is his from the left sword to the right sword. It's making sort of a circular pattern, and everything falls within there. I'm gonna have right now he's on the left. Jeez, come on, John, stop zooming in and out, bro. Yeah, so you can see right here what I'm starting to do is zoom out to about the size that I'm at, and then I'm realizing that I'm recording this, and if I stay out this far, it might not look as enjoyable. But okay, so on the right there in the background, I'm going to have Splinter fighting a foot soldier, because in the next page, I have to keep showing Splinter near that hole, and a figure's going to take him, and it's going to be Shredder, and it's going to be a blast to draw that last page. I'm really looking forward to it. But the hand on the right here from the foot soldier with that sword, and then the ninja stars on the left, all of that, if you look, like even the curve of the sword, I have that so that it compositionally brings your eye to Leonardo, who's at the bottom looking to the right, just to get them to flip the page. It's all composition, and that's, again, one of the things I'm trying to really hammer home is clear storytelling and composition, right? Story. Always thinking about what are you showing. And it can be pretty difficult. Like, I'm fighting it right now. Like, right now I'm drawing Leonardo, and I want to just go in there and just get nasty with the lines and the inks, or not the inks, but the shadows, but it's a battle trying to figure out what to show and what not to show, like what's important, and being okay with just going like, all right, that's enough line art. That's enough stuff I can add to that character. There's other things that are more important. Again, if you look at this, I still need to go in there and add a little bit of line weight. I don't want to thicken it up too much, but Michelangelo is pretty much becoming the centerpiece here. And that wasn't intentional. And I sort of screwed myself a little bit by making Michelangelo so big. And here we're working on Donatello. He's always fun to draw. I have a problem with Donatello and Leonardo. Leonardo's my favorite. I love all the turtles. They all have their own unique thing. But with Donatello, he's got this long stick, the bow, right? Leonardo's got 2 long swords, 2 katanas. Compositionally, they're always like, I feel like they're in the way. I can't. There's straight lines which help with composition, and I can bend them to make it so it's not as stiff. But like Raphael, right? I can put size anywhere his hands go. Michelangelo, a little different. You have to twist. I find you have to twist. There's like some twist action happening in the arms and the wrist to sort of get like a flick motion or whatever with the nunchucks. But I feel like I get more freedom with them. So Donnie and Leo, they're going to be a little more complicated as they go, but these are just the creative problems we get to tackle, when we're doing this sort of stuff. So here, I'm just drawing the foot soldier. Again, it's just a massive hand. I don't want to say it's a great Capullo storytelling, but I think most people will see this in his work. One of my favorite artists, Joe Madureira, he does this a lot too. That's mostly where I get this from, but by looking at other artists like Greg Capullo and other people like even the Kuberts. I love their art as well. You always have like something massive in the foreground. Spawn with Todd McFarlane, he did it all the time. And in this case, it adds to like the chaos of the piece, but I'm using it as framing, right? Like these could have been giant pipes in the sewers. They totally could have been giant pipes, but I figured I would use the hands instead. And I'm just adding a thicker line weight around the hand so that it pops over everything else. All right, guys, so I'm going to let you guys go. Stay tuned for more art as we do the portfolio stuff. Keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.